Let me paint a picture for you. You finally got a house under contract, but the owner needed a post-possession or a lease back, meaning they have to stay in the property for some period of time after it closes, 30 days, 25 days to give them time to find a house or whatever it may be. You give them 30 days and 30 days have passed. You go and try to get the keys, but the seller's still there and they're just not answering. They're refusing to move, or they're maybe trying to strong arm you saying, hey, we need more time. What are you going to do? You're now the homeowner of this property and they don't want to move out. Quite honestly, this is something that really doesn't happen. However, in this current marketplace, we are seeing a lot of post-possessions because, sellers have such leverage. And it used to be common where they would have to pay rent to be there an extra 30 days. Psh, good luck with that now. With so many freaking offers being made, they're just going to be like,
yeah, we're just going to have someone let us stay for free as long as we want here, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
So although it's not commonly seen, it could definitely be a possibility that you need to be concerned about. So in today's video, I want to share with you, sorry, there's a hair. Wally, my giant Newfie, has hair everywhere because he's sleeping here in the office with me. So, well, he's not sleeping with me. Like, I'm not here in the office sleeping. My wife didn't kick me out, I promise, okay? Anyways, the point is, today we're going to talk to you about what you can do in a situation like this, and more importantly, please, oh please, how to prevent this from happening. Even if you have to give a post-possession up, that's fine. There are certain things you can do to really make sure you're covered. So, freaking hair, man, it's got me messed up. So first things first, let's get this straight. When you're giving a seller a post-possession, regardless of the circumstances or who has initially a lot of leverage, in this case the seller, as soon as the house is yours, you are the homeowner. As soon as the house closes and there is a written post-possession or lease back agreement, you are a landlord now. Now, we're going to talk about later about some things you could have done in this process to protect yourself more, but let's say you gave them 30 days. 29, 30 days, 31 days later, when you decide to go check in on them and they're still there, what happens? Well, we've addressed you are a landlord, you are a homeowner, and it doesn't matter if they're the previous owners or they're just your uncle, your aunt, or some random person you let rent your house. They are a tenant who is not complying with the lease. They are not leaving where they needed to have been left. Man, what's up with my English today? This, or let's say they do leave and they just leave the whole place trash. What do? Well, you have to evict them. You have to follow the eviction laws placed by your state. It's that simple. Let's say you're in a state like Arizona that has very strict landlord-tenant laws. You have to abide by them. Say you have to give a 5-day notice to vacate, and then after the 5-day notice, you have to give them a period of time where you have to follow the proper paperwork through the county, and then you have to schedule something with the sheriff. Whatever those rules are, you have to follow them. You get no special exceptions for post-possessions or...
A month ago, they had 20 offers, but we promised them that we would give them the lease back. So we have to have a different way, right?
No. So if you're thinking or you're in a position where you might get into a lease back, you need to research your tenant landlord laws of your state and figure out what the laws are when a tenant doesn't want to vacate their property, because that is what the situation is. What would you do in a position where if you rented that house out for years to somebody and they left it trash? It's the same thing. Hopefully you have some kind of deposit. Look at that. I'm telling you a little bit about the future there, what I'm going to talk about. And if there's no deposit to be collected, maybe you can take them to court, according to whatever the laws of rules of your state are. Or quite frankly, if there's no deposit, that's just going to have to be the risk you take. Of course, consult your laws. I mean, I'm just kind of speaking vaguely here, but it sucks. It's terrible, but this is the risk you take. So when you do a lease back, I will tell you, even though it seems like you're working with good people and you seems like they're reliable and they're trustworthy, always assume the worst. Anytime you do anything contract-wise, negotiation-wise, just assume the worst. Assume they're going to trash a place and leave it completely crazy, or assume that they're not going to want to leave during the time. So what do you do if you have these assumptions? What do you do? Well, I'll tell you what I would do is I would make sure I know exactly what my laws are to make sure who I need to call, what I need to do. Do I need to call the sheriff? What is the process going to look like to vacate them? And maybe give myself extra time to move out in case I have to deal with that. If I have movers scheduled for the day right after they're supposed to give me the keys, 90% of the time they'll be fine, but once again, it's wishful thinking. I probably wouldn't do that. Likewise, if, maybe you plan for it to being absolutely trash when you leave, plan for the worst. get some money aside to make sure to get any repairs done or any cleaning done after they leave. Insane to think that you're going to be in a perfect situation every time. Yes, I've never dealt with this position myself before, but you should still plan for the worst. Oh, there's Wally. Bobby, you're your big boy, Wally. He's a little shy. He doesn't want to come on there. What if I was just making him up the whole time? That'd be crazy. How do you protect yourself from this situation from happening to you? You know, when we're looking for a house, it's complicated. It's very difficult to get a house under contract, and you're so grateful to have gotten something that you're willing to give the seller anything. You know, if you have to give the lease back for free, that's fine, but even though you're giving to them a lease back for free, you can still negotiate some kind of returnable deposit of some sorts. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you get a $500 deposit, a $1,000 deposit that gets held, and oh, there he is. Wally, you want to say hi to the camera? Oh, he's always so annoying, but now that I'm on camera, he doesn't want to pop up. Speak. There you go. That's a good boy. Well, there you go. Now you guys know I wasn't talking to anyone. Where was I? You can negotiate some kind of deposit that's returnable upon a clean bill of health. I've had this happen before where there's a deposit of some kind, and I think you were the seller and the buyer completely made a big fuss about little holes left on the wall and all of that. Those are, in my opinion, people that are just looking out for every dime, right? They're looking for every penny. I'm sure there's some kind of saying that goes here, like, they're tripping over pennies or something. I don't know. Editor Lee, put it up on the screen, whatever the quote is. By the way, Lee's the editor of the channel now. He's awesome. Everybody say hi to Lee in the comment section. You know, if you deal with a situation like this, then it is what it is. Expect to lose that money. But come on, be honest. Like, you know, if they leave little holes on the wall for the paint, whatever freaking photos they had on there, if you didn't specify for every single hole to be patched, then, you know, don't go after that for them. But it turns out they leave the house in terrible condition. Well, you at least get $500 or $1,000 or whatever you collect. At least make the bill less impactful. One thing I also recommend you do is add some kind of penalty fee for every day they stay past the date. Now, once again, you know, if they don't like that, they're like, well, you're going to charge us $100 a day if we decide to stay over? You'd be like, yeah, just don't stay over. You know, so that way, if they do decide to, you know, abuse you and stay, you know, 30 days later, and while you're getting all the attorneys ready and the freaking sheriff ready and all that, that's going to rack up. And if they stay 30 days, that's like freaking $3,000 they're going to be owing, right? So you can make it more hurtful for them to think about trying to do something like that. So we talked about things are preventative, have a security deposit, have some kind of late fee in place. But all these things really add up to one thing, which is our number 3, is a lot of people get a post-possession through just an addendum or a counteroffer. On the contract you send them, you might just put
post-possession to be given to the buyer, you know, the seller, 30 days.
No. Attach a freaking lease to that. You can write an entire lease agreement, whatever online or from your state board, and make it a 30-day lease. Have the protections on there. Make the lease say certain specifications, like they're supposed to have renter's insurance. They're supposed to have the utilities in their name still. They're supposed to leave the house in good condition. That's fine. Once again, if you're giving them a lease back for $0 a day, it is what it is. The market's crazy, but really make it impactful for them to, if they try to anything on you, you have your stuff taken care of. I can't tell you guys how many times, oh, you want to get out of here, Wally? You want to leave? Can you wait till the video's done? Oh, okay, big boy. Oh, he's like 100 pounds right now, so I'm scared of him. Yeah, just because you're going to give him a $0 a day lease back doesn't mean you have to half-ass things. I can't tell you how many times, as the buyer, we give a very vague, hey, you know, lease back 0 day, and the seller agrees. And now, like, if there's any kind of dispute or anything, that's all they agree to is 2 or 3 lines on the contract. That's not going to be enforceable. So really make sure if you're going to do some kind of lease back or post-possession, do things properly. Make sure to be that Karen of asking for different things. That seems to be a common tone of all my home buyer horror story videos, is to be a Karen. So be a Karen. Okay, now I'm going to go let Wally out. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one. Ready, Wally?